Did you know that children as young as 3 years old can understand the basics of right and wrong? Shockingly, a study from the University of Washington found that early lessons on consequences can shape behavior for life. Yet, many parents struggle with how to teach these vital lessons effectively. Welcome to our video on the do's and don'ts of teaching kids about consequences. Here, you'll discover surprising facts and practical strategies to help your children learn from their actions. For example, did you know that inconsistent discipline can increase behavioral issues by 30%? We'll show you how to avoid common pitfalls and use empathy and positive reinforcement to foster understanding and growth. Stay tuned as we dive into early lessons, balancing punishments, maintaining consistency, real-world examples, empathy, and positive reinforcement. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped with the knowledge and tools to guide your kids towards better decision-making and responsible behavior. Let's get started. 1. Early impressions. Why starting young matters. When it comes to teaching kids about consequences, starting young can make all the difference. It's not just about laying down the rules, it's about shaping responsible, thoughtful individuals. Research from the University of Washington reveals that children can grasp the concept of cause and effect as early as 7 months old. By integrating simple lessons about consequences into everyday activities, parents can leverage this early development for lasting impact. Imagine a toddler who throws toys. A straightforward and gentle explanation that broken toys can't be played with helps them connect their actions to the outcomes. It's about creating learning opportunities from the get-go. Teach the consequence, not just the rule, as child psychologist Dr. Laura Markham notes. This approach not only informs them about what happens but why it matters, fostering a deeper understanding from a young age. Furthermore, early lessons in consequences teach children about safety in a natural, understandable way. For example, explaining why we don't touch a hot stove isn't just about obedience, it's about teaching them to anticipate and prevent unpleasant outcomes. These early experiences are crucial because, according to the CDC, the foundation for many behavioral patterns is set by the age of 8. Moreover, when you start young, you're not just teaching, you're habituating. Children learn to predict and accept the natural outcomes of their actions, which becomes a part of their thinking process. This early habit formation is key, as a study in the Journal of Pediatric Psychology found that habits formed in early childhood are much more likely to stick. So, as you interact with your little ones, remember that each moment is an opportunity to introduce the idea of consequences. Keep explanations simple and actions consistent. As they grow, they'll not only understand the concept of consequences but will also be better equipped to apply it in more complex situations. 2. Balancing act. The art of fair punishment. Finding the right balance in teaching consequences is more art than science. It's crucial to align the punishment with the crime, in a way that teaches rather than traumatizes. Dr. Sharon Saline points out, discipline is about teaching, not punishment. This perspective shifts the focus from merely reacting to misbehavior to using it as a teaching moment. For instance, if a child fails to do their homework, a consequence that involves restricting playtime until their work is completed is reasonable. It directly connects the action to the consequence. This method is supported by data from the American Psychological Association, which suggests that consequences that are logically related to the behavior are more effective in promoting good habits and self-discipline. It's also important to be fair and consistent. Inconsistency can lead to confusion and mistrust, which undermines the learning process. A study from Harvard University emphasizes the importance of consistency in disciplinary practices, showing that children respond best to predictable and fair consequences. Another key element is ensuring that the consequences are immediate. When there's too much delay between the behavior and the consequence, the lesson may be lost. This immediacy helps reinforce the connection between action and reaction, which is essential for the lesson to stick. In practice, balancing these factors requires patience and thoughtfulness. It's about making sure the consequence is proportional, connected, and immediate. This approach not only helps children learn valuable lessons about their actions but also respects their growth and autonomy. It's about guiding them, not controlling them, and ensuring the lessons learned are the ones that will help them thrive. 3. Consistency is key. Avoiding mixed messages. One of the most crucial elements in teaching children about consequences is consistency. When rules and their outcomes are predictable, children learn to trust and understand the framework within which they operate. Dr. Robert Brooks, author of Raising Resilient Children, emphasizes, children thrive in environments where they know what to expect. This does not mean being inflexible but rather being clear and steady with the enforcement of rules. Consider this. A child who sometimes gets a snack for whining and other times doesn't, receives mixed signals that complicate their understanding of consequences. The American Academy of Pediatrics supports this, highlighting that inconsistency can lead to increased behavioral issues in children. They suggest setting clear rules and sticking to them to help children learn that their actions have predictable and understandable outcomes. Moreover, consistency helps build self-discipline. A landmark study by the University of Pennsylvania found that children who understood and trusted the consistency of consequences from their parents were better at delaying gratification, a key component of self-discipline. This teaches them to navigate life's challenges more effectively. Practically speaking, maintaining consistency means having clear rules that are communicated and upheld regularly. It's not just about discipline, but also about how you reward good behavior. If a child knows that helping with chores leads to positive feedback or extra playtime, they're more likely to repeat that behavior. It's about creating a reliable environment where good actions reliably lead to positive outcomes, and poor actions lead to predictable repercussions. 4 real-world examples. Consequences in action. Teaching through real-world examples is an incredibly effective strategy. It grounds the concept of consequences in reality, making it more relatable and understandable for children. For instance, showing a child how forgetting to water a plant leads to its wilting, offers a clear and concrete example of natural consequences. This method is backed by educational research. A study by the National Association for the Education of Young Children found that children learn best through direct experiences and real-world applications as opposed to abstract concepts. By using examples from everyday life, parents can make the idea of consequences tangible. For example, if a child sees that neglecting to put away their toys results in the toys being inaccessible the next day, it provides a practical lesson in responsibility and foresight. This direct connection between action and outcome ingrains the lesson more deeply than theoretical explanations could. Additionally, involving children in discussions about potential consequences of various choices can empower them to make better decisions. A simple conversation before a choice, like discussing what might happen if they share their toys versus if they don't, helps them to foresee and choose the outcome they prefer. Moreover, using stories or news events as examples can also be effective. Discussing a news story about the consequences of littering, for example, can reinforce why they should dispose of trash properly. It connects personal behavior to larger societal expectations and consequences, broadening their understanding of how their actions fit into the world around them. 5. Empathy and understanding. Seeing through their eyes. Understanding your child's perspective is crucial when teaching about consequences. Empathy allows parents to gauge whether a child's behavior stems from curiosity, fear, or misunderstanding rather than simple defiance. Dr. Ross Greene, in his book, The Explosive Child, suggests, kids do well if they can, implying that misbehavior is often a result of lacking skills rather than an unwillingness to behave. Empathetic responses not only calm the situation but also open a dialogue that leads to better understanding. For instance, if a child throws a toy in frustration, instead of immediate punishment, asking, "Can you tell me why you did that?" can reveal underlying issues like frustration or lack of words to express feelings. The National Institute of Mental Health notes that empathy in discipline helps children develop emotional intelligence, which is crucial for managing their reactions and relationships. Moreover, empathy involves acknowledging a child's feelings before correcting their behavior. Saying, "I see you're upset because you can't have the toy now, but we need to wait until after dinner," validates their feelings and teaches patience. This strategy, endorsed by child development experts, not only teaches them about consequences but also builds trust and understanding. 6. Feedback loop. The role of positive reinforcement. While consequences often focus on the negative outcomes of actions, incorporating positive reinforcement can strengthen a child's motivation to behave well. Positive reinforcement involves rewarding a child's good behavior, which increases the likelihood of that behavior recurring. According to the American Psychological Association, positive reinforcement is one of the most effective strategies in child behavior management. For example, if a child completes their homework on time, praising the effort or offering a small reward like extra reading time at night can reinforce the behavior. This creates a positive feedback loop, where good behavior leads to enjoyable outcomes. It's essential, however, to ensure that rewards are appropriate and not overly indulgent, as they should encourage rather than bribe. Further, incorporating a system of rewards for consistent good behavior, like a sticker chart or extra playtime each week, can help children visualize their progress and understand the tangible benefits of their choices. The use of such systems has been shown in studies, such as those published in the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis, to effectively promote and maintain positive behavior in children. Lastly, it's vital to communicate why the behavior is rewarded. Explaining that you earned extra playtime because you were kind to your sister all week helps children understand which actions are beneficial and why they matter. This clear communication reinforces the learning process and ensures that positive reinforcement teaches rather than merely pacifies.